Hey guys, what's up? JK with PornReboot here, and today we're going to be talking about how to stay porn free for 2 years. So what exactly is porn free? Well, becoming porn free is staying off pornography permanently and easily. And the only way to achieve this easily is through a reboot. Now, what's a reboot? Well, it's rewiring your brain to become a normal human being. Getting back what you lost, what you gave up during the time you struggled with porn and masturbation. And at PornReboot, I believe, and I found great success at applying a lifestyle perspective to staying off pornography and masturbation. And it's about reconnecting with the 5 areas of your life which allow you to wake up each morning and face the day with joy and purpose. These areas of your life are your mental, social, physical, emotional, and your conscious or your spiritual life. Disconnection from any of these 5 is the reason for your compulsive behavior with porn and masturbation. And reconnection is not only the path back to these areas of your life, but also the antidote to letting them go. Now, the pain that you're experiencing in life with the things you medicate, such as anxiety or loneliness or insecurity or stress or frustration or anger, it exists because you are out of sync with these 5 areas that I mentioned. So to stay off porn for 2 years, which is the ideal amount of time it takes to rewire the brain without fear of ever returning to your former behavior, you must heal, you must nurture, develop, and keep all 5 areas in check with what I call reboot capital. So just as a person starting a business needs capital, an abundance of funds to ensure that the business stays afloat in its early days, a man struggling to end his porn and masturbation addiction needs an abundance of internal and external resources in all 5 areas to ensure that the results of his reboot are maintained. So when you deplete reboot's capital or disconnect from any of these 5 areas, your system of living is then thrown off balance, and then you quickly find yourself spiraling towards a relapse. You must become a gardener, which means you must learn to cultivate and nurture all 5 areas of your life with a well-balanced supply of nutrients, which is your reboot capital, if you plan to experience a great harvest. And in our case, that would be a positive and easy journey to freedom from pornography and beyond. So when all 5 areas are working together, you experience contentment, fulfillment, and balance in your life. However, we must always monitor and ensure that each area has sufficient reboot capital to use when times get tough. I'm going to speak briefly about some of the things that actually sabotage you in this process of rewiring your brain over a 2-year period. And the one thing that I've seen over and over again that gets in the way of living a well-balanced life free of porn and masturbation is arrogance. And this means that you still think, after many years of dealing with this problem, that you can heal on your own. And this causes you to become lazy and stop monitoring your physical, emotional, social, mental, and your conscious or spiritual life. And because things have been going so well for you, maybe you've gone off porn for like 3 or 4 months, you begin to think that you can solve all these challenges yourself. Your success in other areas of your life sometimes blinds you. Now, I coach highly successful business owners, sales reps, financial planners, lawyers, pastors, and executives, and I see them fall into this trap over and over again. Some send these desperate messages to me for help, but after 2 weeks off porn, they feel that they're in control again. And then they send a message to me along the lines of, oh, you know what, never mind. I think I've got this under control. I think I figured this out, okay? Now, maybe you're one of those men who's been playing this losing game for years. I want you to ask yourself, what am I disconnecting from? My health? Is it my emotions? Am I disconnecting from my social life and my relationships? Is it my belief or my intellect? Am I disconnecting from my humanity? Through some circumstances or influence, you are not able to deal with a real or imagined challenge. So instead of seeking support due to your ego, or maybe you even sought support and it failed, you've disconnected from these in exchange for something which could fill that void within you. And that void within you is filled by pornography, by masturbation, and by sexual behavior, which is causing you shame and guilt. You cheated, lied, and manipulated those you loved and yourself. You disconnected from empathy, from kindness, from your basic humanity to become selfish and self-absorbed. Your pain, your pleasure, your problems became your only concerns as a human being. Now, hearing an approach like this might actually be new to you. Ending this behavior is not linear. It doesn't end by sitting in a circle and following 12 steps or giving up your self-reliance to a higher power. You have the right to a happy and porn-free life. And with a little help, you'll discover the inner capacity you have to transform yourself into a better human being. Now, every person has unique abilities, has unique strengths, has assets which can be leveraged in their recovery process. And you also have the potential to not only receive, but to give reboot capital. So let's talk a little bit about how to develop reboot capital in those 5 areas of your life. So let's start with physical. So physical reboot capital plan. Now, it starts with exercising. When you feel stressed, anxious, depressed, exercise is often the last thing on your mind. But that is probably the time when your brain needs it the most. And one of your goals in recovery is to put yourself through a process of discovering ways to build reboot capital in the physical part of your life by taking back your health and maintaining its stability. It doesn't matter what sort of exercise that you do early on. You could swim, it could be yoga, you could lift weights, you could run, it could be martial arts, whatever it takes. And this will be a consistent part of your life for the next 2 years. The next is your mental reboot capital plan. And this begins by challenging your irrational beliefs. Beliefs like, I'll never recover. I made it to 30 days. I got this. I'll never be able to satisfy my wife because of my PIED. Or I'll always be frustrated at work and need to masturbate when I get home. Challenge all your irrational thoughts and make challenging them a habit. See, you'll need constant reality checks, sometimes on a daily basis. Avoid minimization and rationalization. The behavior was built up over years, guys. So just because you go from binge watching porn every few days to doing so every few weeks does not mean that it's under control. Always stimulate yourself intellectually. So read about recovery. And remember that boredom and relapse are close cousins. So stay mentally active. And as your mind becomes clearer, you're going to become stronger and better able to understand that your former addiction cannot define who you are as an individual. The next is your emotional reboot capital plan. Now, when you're unsure as to how your recovery is going, ask for help. As you change, you begin to store up more reboot capital that will strengthen and transform you, and you become better able to forgive yourself and begin asking those who you may have hurt from your behavior for forgiveness. So don't bottle up your feelings by letting them build up inside you. Join a group and use it to express your feelings and your emotions. The next is social reboot capital, your plan for that. Now, no one ever reboots alone, let's face it, okay? People ending their out-of-control sexual behavior need other people, and rebooting is about adopting a culture of new shared values that are positive, that support a porn-free lifestyle, and that enhance your well-being. So socialization through things like meetup groups, through dance and hobby groups, exercise groups, public speaking groups, men's group, recovery groups, all of these things play a very invaluable role in your reboots. People who are in groups, people who are in recovery encourage and engage with each other. They provide each other with the support that's needed to recover and, more importantly, to maintain that recovery. And studies have shown that people who are involved in any type of social group often benefit from improved social functioning and family adjustments. Now, I recommend that in this case, you become a giver and less of a taker. And be patient because you're going to have to start earning back the trust of other people. The next is your conscious or spiritual reboot capital plan. Now, you are entitled to happiness and the joy that freedom from your sexual behavior brings. It's now time to begin risking a little bit and trying to discover your inner path. And this doesn't have to be anything religious, by the way. It's more about discovering the power of gratitude that changes that self-pity you have into peace. And it's about regaining or rebuilding your moral character for yourself once again. And you do this by practicing things like humility, like tolerance, forgiveness, responsibility, and concern for other people. This is how you maintain your recovery in the first 2 years. And any good recovery system will include a plan to develop all 5 areas of your life and help you identify which area in your life needs work. So feel free to drop a line in the comment section and tell me what your thoughts are. Whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways I can help you end your out of control behavior with porn, sex, and masturbation. The first way is you can join my free live training, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men. This is where you learn about men who have stayed off porn for 2 to 5 years and all the steps that they've taken to get there. There's a link to that in the description below. The second is to join our free PornReboot challenge on Facebook and connect with men who are serious about their recovery, who are achieving control over their behavior in 90 days. And it's basically a Facebook community where you can receive accountability, you can receive support and step-by-step help to help you on your journey. The third way is to work with me privately. Now, if you are over the age of 25, if you are an employed professional and you'd like to work directly with me and permanently reboot and make a huge impact on your recovery in the next 90 days, just send me a message to elevatedrecovery@gmail.com with the topic privates, and I'll get back to you and let you know all the details. And then the final way that we can help you is for you to join our group coaching. It is the PornReboot Intensive, and you can join that by visiting pornreboot.com/intensive to become part of an intense 8-week program where you're going to learn new coping skills, you're going to get an accountability partner, and you'll be receiving live coaching from me every single week. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful, please share it with 3 or 4 men who you feel might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Have a wonderful day.